What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Zasko.business channel. As you already know, I'm the guy going for Radiant both in-game and in real life. Last week I finally found the limit of how many problems I can solve in a single week. I ended up mentally overloading myself big time, and it just started to impact my sleep, my performance, and my overall mental health. We're not only coming into this week with some brand new corrective measures such as leaving the Premier team and creating a whole bunch of simplicity throughout my day, but I've also got some brand new goals to work towards in order to help us find a bit more of a direction. The plan this week is to take back the 4 hours I was putting into Premier every single day and put it straight back towards becoming an extraordinary man. I'm looking to take my sleep to the next level, really stay consistent with the exercise, create a way clearer mind through decision making and organization, and lastly just setting ourselves up to perform well when it is time to perform. Is this week going to be the week where we finally achieve not only sustainable but fast progression in Valorant, or are we going to overlook some kind of important detail as per usual and end up crashing and burning? I don't have the answer for you, so you're going to have to watch and find out. Alright, 8 AM our day begins. I start off with 30 minutes of sunlight just to set the circadian rhythm. Normally I use the sad lamp, but today I just felt like getting some sunlight. Next up, I smash out my creatine, vitamin B12 and my zinc before getting stuck into our zone 2 cardio. I do about 15 minutes worth before smashing out our smoothie, and yeah, that's basically the habit stack that I've got so far. Everything's automatic and I just do it without thinking. Since it's Wednesday, as per usual, we've got a coaching session with Dopeye. This week I brought Dopeye a bind VOD to go over, and it was a really good session. He's going to turn it into a proper video where you can just see how he comes to all his conclusions and does all his analysis and reads the game and whatnot. But in this video, I'm just going to give you some dot points, let you know what we're working on specifically, and yeah, check out Dopeye's YouTube channel, alright? Starting on defense, Dopeye wants us to be way more agile with our rotates. We need to be moving around the map like a little scout, okay? We're going to predict when the enemies are probably rotating and just stay as active as humanly possible. Next up, he needs to see more deep smokes, okay? Smoking deep short, smoking deep showers, smoking deep long. We just need to deny information and take as much space for free as possible. This is especially useful against defaulting teams. Lastly, we need some mid-round re-aggressing, okay? Let's say the enemies are pushing a site, we stall it, and they cut noise. I need to be re-aggressing so that we can once again stay ultra active. Swapping over to offense, we were able to identify that my teammate trading could still use some work. First of all, while I'm executing, I could be placing my smokes a little bit earlier just so that I can whip out my gun and make sure that I'm running onto site with my duelists, just keeping better spacing and not trying to min-max my smokes and place them last second. And on top of that, I just need to make a habit out of finding someone to trade in the post-plant situations. With a very clear and concise direction to take our Valorant this week is no time to waste at all. I take a break, I freshen up, and I clean up the beanbag that I was sitting on earlier. It exploded and that was a whole mess. But once that was all sorted, I was warming up for comp, which usually consists of 15 minutes in the range and then a couple death matches. The first game we ended up getting was on Fracture, and this time I'm taking a unique approach. Basically, the plan is to just play one game, have some kind of intention, then after the game review it and just only focus on, did I achieve that intention? The idea is that this will fast track our progression by just helping us stay super accountable. Throughout the game, I was feeling extremely sharp, and unfortunately the game was lost. But guess what? Neither of those things matter. Why? Because the intentions were just to check the minimap every time something happens. I just go over the entire game, it takes me about 10 minutes, and I just find all the different spots on the attack half where I should have checked the minimap, or I did check the minimap. I found that in just the attack half alone, there were about 8 instances where I did check the minimap where I should have, and there were 7 where I didn't, and I missed the opportunity. Hopefully, the lower I get that number, the more aware I am when I play the game. Anyways, on to the next game, we get Bind. We were just coached on this map, and we definitely have a lot to implement, especially the smoke placement. It was actually looking like it was going to be a remake, but we all stayed patient and we waited, and at the last minute the enemy jet came back and the show continues. We started on the defense side, and the main thing was staying mobile the entire time. I actually did not miss a single site flood just because of how agile and mobile I was playing. Swapping over to the attack side, it's all about mini-map triggers. Throughout this game, I actually felt extremely good, and I was really excited to go over this one. While reviewing, I used the exact same scoring system as the last game, and I actually got a very similar ratio of mistakes to successes. Upon further inspection, I found that I was really good at checking my minimap when the team dies, but when the enemy dies, I'm not so onto it. The thing is, it's just as important for me to check when an enemy dies because that is still the game state changing. Next game, we get Haven and we're starting on defense. As we know, the goal is just to be ultra active. This round here starts off with the usual walk down mid. I don't spot anything, but I know that there's enemies towards C. As I'm approaching the Cypher trip, the ISO on our team actually ults him and it goes down and allows me to go past. Yeah, I'm past this trip, I got flank. Instead of rushing the play, I actually call for my team to exec and then I pinch at the exact same time. Something I wouldn't have been able to do if I didn't take the time to just read what was going on and seeing, oh, my entire team is sitting there waiting for me to flank.
One enemy remaining.
Besides that, what I was finding is that since my entire focus was just on reading the game state, it actually allowed my aim to be really good. Despite that though, it was another loss and we didn't end up reviewing it because I was kind of butthurt about it. I thought I was with like win traders or something, but nevertheless, our comp session was done before 3 o'clock as planned. I smashed out our second meal, which is another smoothie, and I just watched some Kane Zero VODs, just kind of passively learning as I drink, and about half an hour later, I'm back on smashing out some TDM. Since I was already pretty warmed up, I wanted to just break up the comp grind by adding in a TDM where I was extremely focused on dedicated peeking and just angle holding. I'd peek the enemies when I felt safe, provoking them to push, and then once I felt like they were pushing, I just made sure that I was always holding the angle properly. I wanted to try and read the enemy movement a little bit better, that way I'm never swinging into an enemy that's already swinging me, and I've got the advantage where I just hold them from an off angle. But then at the same time, I just want to make sure that I do peek into enemies and I capitalize on opportunities when they are presented. Once again, next game ends up being bind and we're just focusing on the same thing. Fast rotate every single round, try get some deep smokes in and see how we go. This game though was pretty interesting. Round 1, Raze dies, tilts and just blatantly says, I'm throwing this game, enjoy the loss.
Wait, what even happened? What? Fucking 1 round?
Yeah, I guess that's Valorant for you, bro. Literally no one said a word to this guy and I have no idea where this came from and I thought, the game's a 4v5 now, but then the enemy jet did this. After seeing that, I was like, okay, sweet, maybe this is salvageable. It's a 4v4, right? After all, my aim was feeling really sharp and I was definitely in the mood to play. But what's funny is in the end, it didn't even matter because the Raze somehow recognized my voice and then just completely stopped throwing, locked in, and then we all just started really try-harding as a team. It's actually funny, bro. That's actually funny. This round here, though, is one that Dope I would be proud of. We start off in our fast rotate position, try our best to fight the flood, and then the second we feel like the site hit was stalled, I immediately start to re-aggress. Now, coming back here. At first I was going to go for a flank, but I ended up getting the information that they were still long and that they were looking to hit the B site once again. I commed to the team to slow down, I wrap all the way around long to get a perfect timing, and together we pinch the enemies in a 2v2 retake, all thank you to the re-aggress.
Close. I want these. No peeking.
Good round.
Huge round. I think the funniest part about this game is that the no-com throwing Raze somehow ended up becoming the IGL, but he was still no-comming, he was just using text chat and just really try-harding the strats.
5-man long.
Bro, if IGL says 5-man long, it's 5-man long. But I mean, hey, everybody had their role to play in this win, and it was a beautiful one nonetheless. So far today, things were looking really good. I could actually feel the momentum start to build. That is, until it stopped. Renovations, okay? My bedroom door was getting upgraded, and that meant my room was out of service for quite a while. I took the opportunity to go for a walk, but not for too long because it was like 32 degrees, hence why there weren't any golfers on the golf course and I had the whole thing to myself. About 30 minutes later, I came back home and the job still wasn't done yet, and I ended up with a lot of time to kill. I spent an unreasonable amount of time learning about the Saudi esports washing controversy, and in hindsight, that was a chunky waste of time. And by the time I was able to hop back on my computer finally, it was just like, yeah, all my momentum was gone. I didn't even know what to do next. I started off by just getting straight into reviewing the bind game that I played last, and despite the game being super fun and feeling like it was a really good game, I had 4 successful minimap checks compared to 8 times where I missed the opportunity to do so. What I realized from this is that I need to isolate my practice and just create a whole different environment to learn this, because when I play comp, I honestly just completely forget about the whole idea and I end up just playing and getting into the flow state. I get straight onto it. I queue up a swift play and spend the entire time G'ing up the team to either rush A or rush B, and since nothing matters at all, I just simply focus on game state reading. I'm just trying to rewire the habits in my brain while there's nothing distracting me from doing so. Just like here, for example, I'm literally on site, reading the minimap, I see Raze is fighting and I immediately group with him and try and keep the best spacing possible. Since I don't care about anything else going on in the game and there's nothing on the line and there's no stress whatsoever, it's so easy to keep my mind focused on rewiring this habit, and that's where Swift Play does actually come in handy. Eventually I swap back to comp, end up queuing into a Lotus game, and it's really cool to see that the Swift Play practice was still fresh in my mind. I felt more aware of the game state than any other game I'd played today. I was finding opportunities to check the minimap after every single death in game, teammates included. I was not only updating my understanding of the game state after every death, but I was also reading potential threats that are still left in the game. For example, I looked up, I saw that there was a Reyna eye that could have come in that hasn't been used yet. Like, someone shoot the Reyna flash? Never mind. This is stuff I'm never thinking about normally. Regardless, this game I absolutely battled my heart out and unfortunately ended up being another MVP loss. So I decided to call it, ended up spending the rest of my time grinding out Kovacs, and when it was time to wind down, I swapped to Candlelight and just did some reading. Reading was actually the answer to absolutely transforming my sleep. It calms my mind and there's no artificial lights involved whatsoever. It doesn't take willpower like stretching or meditation, and to make it even better though, I'm reading at my desk so that my bed is now only for sleeping. And since my brain only associates bed with sleeping, I fall asleep even faster now. I've also applied that concept just to everything else as well. In the morning, no more sad lamp in bed, I just immediately get up, and so far it's been instantly effective. Like everything I've done so far, I've been getting the best sleep I've ever had. And yeah, today was no exception. I woke up completely energized and the habit stack was effortless. I smashed my cardio, smashed my shake, smashed everything. Today I ended up starting off my session with a Xander VOD, just learning a bit of Clove from the professionals, and I was supposed to get stuck into a gym session, but the thing is, today I've only got half a day. The gym is important, but I wouldn't say it's as important as the YouTube and Valorant side of things, as that's my job after all. Problem is though that the gym is not in the habit stack at all. Like there's nothing automatic about the gym, so chances are I am just going to end up forgetting. I've already taken 3 days off now just because I've been super overwhelmed, and honestly I just don't like having weak muscles and I just hate not being able to perform, so that's always a barrier for me that I have to overcome. But with that out of the way, I get straight into deathmatch and eventually queue up some comp. For our first game we got Haven, and I was feeling super groggy and sluggish, and there's a very clear reason for that, and it's because I started my comp session early, so I haven't actually digested any of the smoothie, and obviously it's a pretty hectic smoothie. But look, I'm not going to say it was horrible or anything like that because I was still clicking heads, but it's just not my usual sharp focused self. Now I got to pause real quick because this is pretty cool. When I record, I take notes, and after this game, my notes described that the game had very poor game state reading. The reason for that is because I just wasn't consciously thinking about it, like I forgot, same as always. But it didn't mean that I was automatically not reading the game states properly, because after a 27 kill match MVP win, I reviewed the game thinking, oh, I forgot, I failed my task again. But no, the sleep has actually done its job. First of all, pre-round, you can see that I'm making my calls with economy in mind. I don't have an AWP, I reckon we should go see. While executing that pre-round call, I'm checking my minimap to try and spot what the drone sees. Jet dashes in, I look to trade Jet, but I don't get a chance because she's too fast. But then Cypher gets a kill, which triggers me to check the game state once again, and then I identify that I can actually just peek off my KO. I'm gonna peek off you, KO. I stay tucked, completely glued to the minimap, knowing that I'm completely safe to do so, and then I see our garage player die. I'm smoking it, Sova, can you hold garage? I immediately register that this completely changes the game state, urgently call for Sova to fill in the gap. We could get lurked up on. And not only am I aware of the potential lurk that this opens us up to, but I also swing off the KO just as planned. The enemy that was playing garage ended up swinging out the smoke and takes me out, but the Sova is able to instantly trade thanks to our previous call. The team fight pans out and we end up losing it, but how can we be upset? Like, we're showcasing some great fundamentals and team play here, and most importantly, I'm doing it all without thinking. All the practice from yesterday's session has actually subconsciously downloaded into my mind. The thing is though, it wasn't all good. Like here, there's an example where Cypher dies short and I just completely miss out on the info, and in this situation here, I was just way too locked into the fight against Jet, and I had plenty of time to unpeek, check the minimap, and make a better, more informed decision using that information. Next game, again, I get Haven, staying mobile, flooding sites, doing the usual, but yet another match MVP loss. This match history, it really makes it easy to think that it's not my fault, but we always know that it is. There's always something we could be doing better. The next game, I just continued focusing on reading game states. As you can see, the team fighting is still improving so much. However, after another MVP loss, I decided, you know what, we're going to change the focus, switch from game sense to mechanics, and let's actually break down some of our gunfights and see what could be causing us to lose so often. That game, in the very first fight that I took, you can already see a lot of instability in my flicking technique. It's as if I was moving my mouse way too fast and just couldn't control the landing, which meant that I was taking way too long to micro adjust, obviously giving the enemy time to kill me. The next death, we can see some poor conceptual mechanics. In this fight here, I have angle disadvantage. Instead of tracing here, I simply need to pre-aim. And because I am tracing, they see me way before I see them, allowing them to shoot me faster once again. Here's another example of my flicking technique where you can just see that shaky landing and lack of control. Again, when I land on a target, it just needs to be soft and graceful, like Alexander, okay? That's the prime example. Here as well, we can see another conceptual mechanic issue. I'm not peeking out nearly enough, and I'm not even close to head height, and it just shows that I don't know how to peek this angle properly. Lastly, this is like the final boss of conceptual mechanic issues. Like, I literally traced this angle with extreme angle disadvantage. Like, I've seen enough. My mechanics are not where I thought they were at all. Softer landings for my flicks are now the focus going into the next game, which happens to be a Radiant lobby. In hindsight, I can tell you this is a mistake, because we already know you're not meant to focus on mechs when you queue into comp, but I'm not gonna lie, I just simply forgot. Yes, while I was playing, my flicking technique was 100 times better than usual, obviously since I was focusing on it, but this came at the cost of my awareness and my game sense. Being a much higher elo game than I'm used to, my teammates immediately picked up on it, and thankfully they made sure, they really made sure that I knew what was up.
I fucking hate this guy on my team.
As per usual, I just take accountability and stay respectful to everyone regardless, but the toxicity would not go away. With that, of course, I start to lose all my focus altogether, and then I start questioning every decision, and then it kills my flow, and hey, of course that makes the toxicity even worse. I'm just gonna stay and try and kill one or two. There's so many, there's so many.
Oh, good trick, bud.
Thanks, bro, thanks, bro.
No, you and
Spike
brain
down
damage?
A.
Go hand in hand.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not...
Got a smoke or
He has an
something?
ore.
Yeah, it just came up, bro. Oh yeah, I'm muting comms. Yes, I could have muted the team a long time ago. Like, this is literally almost match point. The thing is, I was really torn because I really enjoyed the comms and the IGLing that these players were giving, and I was learning so much from it, but 21 rounds of just staying calm and respectful despite the barrage of insults and condescending comments just because I'm not that good at Valorant. Like, holy sh... This one actually like stung me to my core, but the thing is, that's not me. That's legit not me. Valorant has never played with my emotions like this, or hasn't for an extremely long time. Not since I really got on top of my health. I'm just going to give you some foreshadowing by saying it's actually not even Valorant that's causing the problem here at all. For now, for the sake of gratitude and just staying grateful in general, let's just say it was a good thing that the team did not let me off the hook for my mistakes, because we can clearly tie the emotions to the mistakes I made, not the team, and therefore the lessons will be solidified. I'll make sure that I have a clear mind going into every single game from now on. On top of that, I'll also make sure that I train my mechanics in deathmatch, just like I should. I don't know why I haven't been anyways. Comparing my deathmatch playtime to Primmy's deathmatch playtime is crazy because he has 4 times my hours. This should not be the case because it's both of our full-time jobs, but one of us has scrim practice and the other one doesn't. Not only that though, but they're all on regular DM. Recently I've just only been playing TDM, and maybe that's why my map specific skills like tracing and pre-aiming and just knowing where the head height isn't as good as it could be. So yeah, from now on, I'm just going to play more regular DM, and I'm just going to stop thinking while I play comp. This week, I tried playing comp for the sake of learning, but once again, I've just found that it's not it. Instead, I need to play comp to just practice staying present and clear-minded. If I can pull it off, it allows myself to play subconsciously, which is where I perform the best. On top of that, it also allows me to identify which skills I've actually gotten to the unconsciously competent stage of skill acquisition. Comp is the benchmark, comp is the mental training, and then on top of that, if we want to progress, we just grind outside of comp, just like we do with Swift Play or Deathmatch. This is nothing new, but this whole session 100% solidified that belief in my mind. Now, like I said earlier, today is a half day. No more Valorant, no more grinding. I'm gonna go spend some time with my partner. I've got a long drive ahead of me, but it's a perfect opportunity to sharpen my mind, because how you do anything is how you do everything, and if I can't keep a clear and present mind while I'm driving, how the hell am I supposed to do it in the chaos of Valorant? Whilst we were out socializing though, I had someone recommend a book, and it's all about the brain, being present, and the benefits of meditation and whatnot, and it's just right up my alley. So once I arrived home and spent the last of my 20 minutes just getting in some extra DM, I once again switched everything off at 10 PM and started winding down by just delving into my new purchase. As expected, I got another perfect sleep, so when I woke up, I was absolutely full of energy, allowing me to absolutely smash the habit stack pretty effortlessly. Instead of watching VODs today, I was actually pretty G'd up to keep reading, so I just got stuck into that, and after about an hour or so, I was ready to grind, but today was going to be different. As I warmed up, I'm not thinking about nothing. I'm actually just placing my entire awareness on tracking and following the target. The idea is just to trust my body to move the mouse as it knows how to do, and if it can't do that, and it's not using proper technique or whatever I need to work on, that's for our mechanical training to solve later. First game, split. We enter with our mind primed for performance. There's no noise, there's no clutter, there's no judgment. We're just solely in the present moment, observing and trusting the subconscious to play for me. Like every other time we do this, we're playing amazing. But the thing is, there's still something that's wrong. There's something that's not right.
Back like I never left. I'm back.
This game was close. It was well fought, and it showed so much improvement all across the board. But for some reason, it really pierced through my usual stoicism. Just like the previous session, my emotional control was lacking really bad. The second game, still focusing on sinking into that flow state, again, playing out of my mind and destroying the lobby. We won, but I just wasn't satisfied at all. Third game, once again, it was amazing. The team play was great. The comms were great. Everything was great. Listen. All right, let's fight together, chamber. I'm gonna smoke us in 4 seconds. Wait 1 sec. We're gonna go elbow
Not
together.
ready yet. No
You have
peeking.
ult, Seppa.
I'm pushing.
One enemy remaining.
Left side.
Nice.
Great work, bro. Another loss. And another spike in my frustration. Just a really bad loss. Really bad loss, like almost frustrating. I tried to justify it by saying maybe it's the extreme levels of focus that I'm putting towards staying present, but that wouldn't make sense. I take a break for a while, come back, jump into TDM to see how I was feeling, and for a time that I should be at my absolute peak for the day, my performance was still only getting worse. I did some stretches, ate a banana, lost another comp game, queue up again, and at this point, yeah, literally could not focus for the life of me. I had 0 gas left in the tank.
How do we lose that? Just wait for the flank, why are we fighting them? Are you guys retarded?
Yeah. Thankfully, it was finally time for our second meal, and I absolutely smashed it. Not only did I smash it, but I was still hungry afterwards. Immediately, like night and day, I was feeling 100 times better, and at this point it clicked. Why have I been struggling with energy, motivation, and emotional control? Probably food, like always. After all, I'm literally having 2 smoothies per day. Until now, I'm not even sure how much that was, so I decided to break it down. Each smoothie consists of 70 grams of oats, 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, 30 grams of whey protein powder, a cup or so of milk, and 150 grams of berries. This equates to 828 calories, 50 grams of protein, 28 grams of fat, and 93 grams of carbs per smoothie. Having this twice per day absolutely smashes the protein requirements, but that is an insane calorie deficit. On top of that, I would 100% be nutrient deficient not eating any veggies or meat whatsoever. Like look, I saved a lot of money just getting away with this smoothie diet, but maybe I've taken it a little bit too far as per usual, I don't know. Sometime before next week, I promise I'll crunch the numbers, come up with a plan, and I'll reasonably get some proper food down. No more smoothie meta. With that though, combining my smoothie and some inspiration from the Rankers game that I just watched, I jumped back into Valorant and decided to just have some fun and limit test. I actually was feeling way better, and I was just going nuts. I was just seeing what I could get away with, and I was just fully getting into the flow state, putting in no thought whatsoever, and just having some fun letting loose. After the session, I made the biggest change, which was to keep the 2 smoothies but add in a third meal, which was sweet potato chicken and a bunch of vegetables. And yeah, I was immediately feeling so good. Something about it, man. There's something about eating food that's just so good. So great, in fact, that I decided to smash 10 consecutive death matches. Something that I'll continue to do every single day moving forwards until I catch up to Primi in deathmatch playtime. After getting through all 10, that's the day done. Another perfect sleep, and I just keep going across the weekend. Obviously, I spend the time making the video as I'm doing right now, but hey, it's been a good week. It's been a good week. Ups and downs, lots to learn, and so far, very happy. We just keep grinding. I don't know, I don't think about it too much. I just keep grinding, I'm not gonna lie. Over the weekend, I've made some cool changes, which I'm keen to show you guys, and I've had heaps of cool ideas, so I will be back next week, same time as always. Chuck us a subscription if you've made it this far and you're not subscribed, and hey, we'll see you there. Take care.